I'm Marcie Klida Blossom. I'm a member of the Planned Giving Committee for the McLaren Bay Medical Foundation, and I'm also an attorney in Bay City that one of the areas I specialize in is estate planning. I think most people think that there's a perfect time when they should put together their estate plan. And for most people, it's usually when you're a little bit older, when you have your affairs in order, when your family's grown, and you're starting to think about what's in the future. But the fact of the matter is, once you turn 18, it's not too young for you to put together an estate plan. When I use that phrase, estate plan, I say plan because it's comprehensive. Most people think of wills or trusts, and so at 18, maybe even at 25, maybe even at 35, you think, I don't have a lot to put into a will or a trust for the future. I'm still paying down debt, or I'm working on other things. But it's more than just the will or the trust and what happens to the things that you own when you die. There's another component for when you're alive, and that's powers of attorney. Now, most people are familiar with those, but what most people don't know is as a youth, as a child under 18, your parents have the right to make decisions for you. The minute you turn 18, you're considered a legal adult. So it's very important if you're moving out of your parents' home, if you're going away to college, even if you're staying at home and going to college or starting your first job. If something happened, worst case scenario, and you were unable to make financial or legal decisions for yourself, or most importantly, medical decisions, either because of incompetency or perhaps you're in a coma. If emergency decisions need to be made, then those powers of attorney give the people that you have specified, and in that example that I gave, it would probably be your parents, the ability to make those decisions for you. And that's the key with powers of attorney, is it gives you the right to choose who you would want to make decisions based on who you think would make the same kind of decisions you'd make for yourself. And most people are very familiar with the medical power of attorney. It has lots of different names. Personally, my documents say durable power of attorney, and I like to designate them as medical and financial because I think that's easiest for most people to understand. The medical is exactly what it sounds like, and the financial is really all other legal and financial matters. And those powers of attorney are part of any comprehensive estate plan. The other end to that is, of course, powers of attorney apply while I'm alive. What happens when I die? Those terminate, and then your will or your trust takes precedence and determines what happens to any assets that you leave behind. And so as we go through our phases of life, our needs change, and you may have more to give in a will or a trust when you get older, but those powers of attorney that couple with it are every bit as important. One of the biggest stumbling blocks that I find for people who are considering putting together an estate plan is they use the phrase, I have to get my affairs in order. I hear that all the time in some version or another. And if I could give one piece of advice when it comes to that idea, it is don't worry about getting things in order, call and make the appointment. I feel pretty confident that most attorneys, we all have different styles and different processes that we use, but I feel pretty confident that most attorneys would say it's better to just get the ball rolling, schedule that first meeting, come in empty-handed if you can, and sit down with the attorney and talk to them about what it is you're looking to do, what some of your goals are. Personally, and as I said, most attorneys have their own style, but personally, I like to sit down in a very informal and relaxed conversation with potential clients and talk about what it is their family looks like, what it is they have, and what it is they'd like to see happen to what they have when they die. I also like to discuss what it is they'd like to see happen while they're alive, because that's an important part of it too. The estate plan encompasses not just your will or your trust, but also medical and financial legal powers of attorney, which apply while you're alive. So this idea of having all of your financial documents, deeds, account numbers, maybe even past estate plans that you've had but have gotten dusty on the shelf somewhere, and maybe they don't know where they are. This idea of I have to have all of this organized, I have to have a list of information. Personally, I don't require any of that. It's more important to come in and sit down and get the conversation started, because it's particularly for me, once we do that, I'll tell you what it is I need for you. And in most cases, clients are often surprised at how little information I actually need. That's largely dependent on the type of estate plan that you need and what your wishes are, but your attorney will guide you and direct you on that. And make it someone local, make it someone in your community who's going to understand the needs of someone that lives and works in our area. But the biggest thing is just making that phone call, setting the appointment, meet with a few different people until you find someone you're comfortable with, and from there they'll be able to guide you on what it is you need. It doesn't have to be scary and overwhelming. Really, what should be more scary and overwhelming is the thought of not addressing it and getting everything in place in the way that you would like it to be. So make the call and just get the process started, and it's your attorney's job to guide you from there. This cause is near and dear to my heart because I was born and raised in Bay City. I lived away for 2 years while I went to law school, and when faced with the decision of where I wanted to start my legal practice, I decided to come back to my home community. I've never regretted it once. One of the most valuable things that we have in this community is our local hospital. And that's part of why I'm so excited to be part of this foundation and especially this committee, because it is necessary for us to have a thriving hospital in order to have a thriving community. Top-notch care for all of our local residents. It should be a priority to everyone. And this is a way for me to give back, but it's also useful in my practice. I deal with many people that have a philanthropic spirit, but they don't know how or where to give. And sometimes we think of larger organizations that you'll see on TV or are known on a national level, and I like to encourage people to stay here. One of the most important things and one of the reasons that attracted me to this cause is because every dollar that you give to this foundation stays in our community. So it really does benefit you, your family, and your fellow community members. Giving local, keeping things in our community, it benefits us now and the generations that will follow us to come.